What are you defining as black, though? What if you're 75% African American but white passing? We're not doing this. All right, black pill time. JBW or...
All you have to do is walk up to her, tell her you're interested, and give her your number. And don't ask for her phone or anything. Just write it down on a little piece of paper and just give it to her. And I guarantee that if you use this method, you're going to get a better response because they already know now that you respect them enough.
You heard it here first, guys. From now on, all you have to do is simply write down your number on a piece of paper and start handing it out to women like you're a street salesman. Apparently, it's really that easy. But what she didn't mention is to also bring a broom and rubbish bag, so you can have an easier time picking up all of the worthless pieces of paper you handed out that got dropped 30 seconds later. Anyway, to avoid wasting your time, I'll get straight into the video. Here's 3 reasons why, as a man, you should never take any dating advice from a woman. Don't trust anyone, guys. They honestly don't have a clue what they're talking about.
These people, dude.
Reason number 1, plain ignorance and a complete lack of perspective.
I think this is a legitimately good argument, though. The lack of perspective argument is pretty big there from both sides. I would say this from both angles. Like, there's a lot of guys that don't know how to pick up guys because it's just a lack of perspective thing. I might agree with a lot of the things that this person says in this, because I do generally agree that, like, well, I would argue that getting dating advice from anybody is kind of shit. It seems like a lot of dudes are just concerned with getting a bag off of other dudes. You get the dating advice red pill people that are like, yeah, just get more gains and you'll get more women.
Using this graph you can see on your screen right now, I can explain perfectly why the girl's dating advice from the clip at the beginning is simply awful for the majority of guys. In fact, this more or less summarizes 99% of the dating advice currently out there on YouTube. If the woman from the clip...
I love this guy because he just makes charts. He's the guy that people reference when they're like talking about how you could just trick people by just making charts. There's no data behind any of these numbers. It's just a chart that he just made. He just made the chart and that's it. It's
the beginning, followed her own advice, actually went outside and started handing out her number to random attractive guys. Imagine she did that 100 times. I'd say she'd get a response back from at least 70 or 80 of them. It's almost making it too easy for herself. This is because the vast majority of guys have never been approached in their life, not once. Therefore, for women...
Yeah, I think for women, it's like, this is what I was talking about with the lack of perspective. For women, I truly believe this. It's as simple as talking to a guy. It really is that simple. Like, just, there are many dudes that will be in shock that a woman is even talking to them in a romantic way at all. In shock. Absolute shock. Like, oh no, it's a prank, it's a joke. I can't believe this is happening. This has never happened to me before, and shit like that, right? I remember for my entire life, I've remembered every time a woman has approached me, and I can count it on half of the fingers on one hand, right? Because it's such a big ordeal. It's just so unfucking common. It's unbelievably uncommon how uncommon it is. It's an event. It's a fucking event. And so that's how a lot of guys will operate with that.
This advice is 9 out of 10 for them.
You have
Similarly,
4 or 6 fingers?
If a highly attractive man did this.
Listen. Hey, it was a math class, okay? I didn't excel, okay?
A real top 10% guy. Somebody who's tall, muscular, good hair, jawline, etc. I'd say he'd get maybe 20 to 30 responses. Therefore, this advice will also be 9 out of 10.
What? You telling me some dude looking like Hassan walks up to women and hands out his number? He gets to... No, okay, this is delusion, bro. Delusion, dude. Delusion. Absolute delusion. Okay, you would get significantly more than that. I don't know what the exact number would be. I don't, like, this is such a weird thing to, well, yes, clearly he'd get exactly 78 or 69. You know, it's such a stupid way of doing it. I have no idea what the exact number would be. It's not 20 or 30. I can guarantee you it's not 20 or 30. I'd say probably at least 40, at least 50, at least 40 and 50. And that's if you get unlucky with some non-single women. Like, I'd say that's 100%. Women are more. A top 10%, you're lost. You're fucking lost. Some dude looking like this hands out his number to 100 women, and you think they're gonna get 20 to 30? You're lost. You're fucking lost. I'm sorry. People have failed you in your fucking life. If you think somebody who looks like this hands out his fucking number on the goddamn street and only gets 20 or 30, you're lost. I'm sorry. I failed you.
For the top 10% guys. Now let's take a look at the final category. Any guy who's average to below average in looks. I promise, if any man like this...
So average or below average, it literally wouldn't surprise me if it was 0. I'm just going to be honest. For dudes, it wouldn't surprise me if it's 0. For that. I'm just going to be straight on that.
He walked up to 100 girls, gave out his number and nothing else. He'd end up with a grand total of 0 responses. At best, he'd get a few sympathy texts or kind gestures. Nothing serious would ever ensue. And because of this, he'd likely be left feeling frustrated and unwanted. So, back to the original question. Why has this woman uploaded this TikTok thinking it's sound advice, when in reality, it has little to no value for most men?
Again, he's using no data whatsoever. It's just like, oh, well, it's just clearly has no utility.
It is because most women out there have no idea about what it's like to date as a man in the modern dating world. Therefore, they're not able to distinguish between what works for them may have no impact if done exactly the same by an average man. It's no different than the fact a rich man can never truly empathize with a poor man.
Just curious, do people like this have prescriptions? So that's what usually makes it the black pill is no. The red pill has prescriptions. The black pill usually is just, it tends to be that they say that like women are just degenerates who only want hot guys, and this is never going to happen unless we like, I've seen some suggestions of like reducing their, like doing the forced monogamy shit by law, like arranged marriages by law and shit like that. Those are the only like prescriptions that I see a lot of black pill people use. They say that like looks maxing and shit is often cope and will not work, and just women are just like picky pieces of shit that are here to ruin men's lives. That's usually what I hear. Just fuck bros, it's simple, yeah. I don't know, bro. I know a lot of women who have rejected attractive men who try to chat them up at a bar because they don't like the idea of a stranger hitting on them who probably just wants to fuck them even if the guy is attractive. Yeah, I'm sure you do know those people. Now, the question is that 80% of women? I'm sorry, homie? No, it's just not. It's just not. I know some guys that are fucking Volcel Chads, all right? I'm one of them. Volcel Chads, that some hot-ass fucking chick can walk up to them and they'll just be like, nah, I'm gonna play some video games. And just fucking throttle that person's confidence because they're just like, nah, I'm gonna just play some video games. And that's it. All right? That's it. It's fucking done. It's over. Chad shit. That's real Chad shit. All right? That shit. All right? I know some people like that. That ain't 80% of dudes. I'm sorry. It's not.
If he has never actually experienced it. Just like Marie Antoinette said to the poor who was starving, if there's no bread, instead, let them eat cake. Here's another example. Just take a look at this Reddit post, posted by a woman titled, "To all men who think they are ugly." It reads, "As a woman, and many of my female friends, I can say appearance is one of the last things we are looking at. We as females..."
So this is a blatant lie. It has been proven time and time again that, of course, and it makes sense socially, that women do massively, not a small amount, massively underrepresent how much they care about looks amongst themselves and to each other, and of course externally. This is a extremely statistically known thing. that this is the case. But yeah.
Owls are usually attracted to confidence, helpfulness, and kindness. Hope this helps. Guys, the sheer lack of perspective here is baffling.
They probably, I don't know if it's that's fair. You can't control me. That's probably fair. It might not be a lie. They may truly believe it in themselves. They're just delusional. I would say that. They're at the very least delusional. If at worst, they're a liar. I would say it's probably fair. Women only want money and dumb chads who treat them like shit. I'm such a nice guy, I swear. I think even the black pill. Nice beam. I think some people say that. The black pill at least says that they only want like looks and chads, and they'll settle for money if they're like greedy. And the reason, the thing that they point to be able to support this is like women that date like really, really broke, attractive dudes. Like broke, attractive dudes who like the common argument is either like drug addicts or alcoholics or some shit, and they'll say like or criminals, right? They'll talk about the Jeremy Meeks guy and be like, yeah, women will go after this guy even though, you know, fresh out of jail, he probably had no money. I have no idea how much money he had coming out of prison. I think he was in prison, right? That's what the black pillars will say. I think this is a bit cringe. I think there are women that, my thing is like, I think personality for all people is what makes a long-term relationship work. It doesn't matter if you're attractive or not. What matters when it comes to you being attractive is whether or not it seems like, one, they will cheat on you, or two, they will initiate the relationship in the first place, right? Incongruencies with physical appearance is a really big problem when it comes to this. It's not like if you're more attractive than your partner, they won't cheat on you or anything like that. It has to do with whether or not there's similar levels of attractiveness amongst the two people. If there's similar levels of attractiveness, no cheating. Lowest level of cheating. And personality is king. Personality is king. Long con. It's king. It's key. Right? You're never going to be in a relationship with somebody with a dog shit personality in a lot of circumstances. It's just not going to happen. How much do you think game matters? Game? It depends on how we define game. And I would say it matters quite a bit. If you walk up like this, like, you're pretty. Like, yeah, you're going to get a no every time. Every single time. Right? A good example that I like to give is there's people with speech impediments. And people with speech impediments often unfairly get rejected for their speech impediment, for being weird and creepy. But your physical appearance can be a modifier with that, right? So if you're a hot Chad with like a speech impediment, you can often, people can say, oh, that's cute or that's endearing. It's just such a cute like slur or a lisp and stuff like that. But if you're like less attractive, people are going to view it like, oh, that guy's creepy. He's weird, right? So there's that issue. There is an issue with that. And it's a really big problem. A person I like to address to this, and actually people in my chat who have said that this person is really weird, is a guy called Decline. I don't think he has technically a speech impediment. I actually don't know if it would qualify as one, but like this is how he's talking.
Hey guys, just another general update on my life. We are in lockdown again here in the state of Victoria for the 5th time a few days ago.
And the amount of people that have come into my chat room been like, this guy, he's so creepy. It's just a weird, he talks so weird. Why is he so weird? And shit like this. And these are the arguments people will make stemming from these things, right? A lot, right? There's a really big problem that people have. But hey, it happens. I straight up got in a debate with one of my chatters because of this guy. He's like, women shouldn't be forced to date people that are weird like this. What's weird about him? What's weird about him? What's weird about him? Right? Like you're just, I just think it's strange that he talks like that. And I think it's weird you talk like that. I think it's weird how half my chat speaks. The fuck? Right? And so this is a really big problem that people have.
Fooled into believing this, just remember that the truth is always revealed through data and actions, never words.
If you define weird by is not the norm, that would be weird, right? Correct, but why is it bad? Right? That's the issue then, Tony. I would agree with that. If we want to define weird that way, why is it bad? Because it differs from the norm. I don't know. I think that's unfair, really. He clearly has non-normative talking style. And?
Fact.
Wait, yeah, data? Wait, hold up.
Through data and actions, never words.
Nice beam. The data, the non-existent data he has.
Fact. Banks only accept male candidates who are 5'10" or above in height.
Among white donors?
Fact. Looks was shown to be the most important.
So this isn't even a fact, actually. This is actually not true. There are height requirements that are different inside of different things. But I agree, it's really fucked that this is the way that it works. I don't know why it works this way outside of cosmetic shit. Like, just people like sperm from people that are tall. Outside of that, I don't know. I really don't know. But yes, to my knowledge, 5'10" is not the exclusive height requirement. So this is actually not a fact. A fact is that almost universally, sperm donors require a height requirement for men. Excuse me, males. And, yeah, so.
Permanent for a man's success.
No one wants short male kids? Well, I mean, yeah, there's the discrimination factor against short men. There is that issue. But I don't know if that's the only reason why they have a height requirement. I just actually don't know. I think the obvious argument, though, would be if he has a non-normative trait, so he is more likely to have non-normative experiences and probably compatibility. Hence why so many people have a reaction to that's weird or unified. Right. But the issue with that, Vamp, is that gets into the I don't want to say it's the social recline or decline, but it's the problem is there's a system at play there. It's like when you get caught behind, socially speaking, you stay behind because everyone uses this to justify you not talking to you anymore. I don't want to talk to that guy because he's weird, right? So you begin on a similar level, let's say in kindergarten, then you decide to, I don't know, play some more Fortnite, and you're into video gaming, and then you get caught behind inside of the lingo, socially, you don't pick up on certain social cues because this is a key time for you to be picking up on social cues, so now you're weird. Because you speak in a weird way, you talk in a weird way, less people are going to want to interact with you, then you get even less social time, right? And then video games start looking even better because why would I hang out with people that think that I'm weird instead of go play video games? And then you get less social interaction, and then you get less social interaction, and then you keep going down that pipeline. It's a really bad problem that a lot of people have, is that social rejection. So, yeah, who cares if somebody is weird, quote unquote, if they talk weird or whatever, right? Like, I have had good friendships with people that have been weird. Just chill. You know? I agree it's not bad, but I can see why people wouldn't want weird partner. Well, I think you not wanting a weird partner is often out of preconceived notions that are, and sorry, not you personally, that are often out of preconceived notions that are just kind of bullshit. So those, like, well, they might have a different experience here and a different experience. So find out. Hang out with them, chill, because the vast majority of the people don't. They're just like chilling, they're vibing, right? And then that same idea that like, I don't want to hang out with that guy. He might be weird. He might like do some weird shit, just leads like to worse outcomes for like most people. And fuck, including you, because now you got an environment, if you think this person is so weird, where this person can't even socialize properly. And then you have a bunch of citizens that aren't socialized because you don't want to hang out with somebody with a lisp.
Speed dating studies. And
have you ever felt like the weird one? Not really, actually.
It's women saying it carried the least amount of weight. Fact. The average toy length is 2 inches longer than
because others will have a bad reaction to them. I'd say it's kind of cringe if you're picking your partner based on what other people think of your partner. I'd say that's a pretty cringe thing to do. I'm not dating this chick because she's a little bit too overweight and people are going to think that I'm like a chubby chaser. That's a pretty stupid thing to do. I remember that shit growing up. That's pretty lame, homie. That's a you problem.
Western average. These are the real pieces of data that matter. And no, not any studies based on surveys or questionnaires where they ask women's opinions about what matters most. This will always get you lies as answers. Anyway, that's the first reason.
Hold up, what is this? Average dildo measures up to a full length of 7.5 inches.
These are the real pieces of data that matter. And no, not any studies based on surveys or questionnaires where they ask women's opinions about what matters most. This will always get you lies as answers. Anyway, that's the first reason. And now I've got this out of the way, now is a good time to press the like button and leave your thoughts in the comments below so far.
I didn't know. I want to look this shit up about the dildo measure up thing, because that would be a very, very interesting bit of data to look at.
As it helps the YouTube algorithm. Now
I can see
on.
people. I can see. Hold on, Tony. It's not about whether or not I can see people making the decision. It's whether or not the decision is justified. I could see people not dating other people because they're black. That doesn't mean that it's something that I think is reasonable. There is a pretty easy dunk from history you can bring up often. How other people think about your partner. Enjoy the layup. Well, sure, of course. The real dildo meme is chicks prefer girth. Well, I know there is a girth aspect to it, but I want to know what the dimensionality is. I think it would be an actually interesting bit of data. Don't most people take the opinion of family, friends, coworkers into account when settling down with a significant other? At least it seems pretty normal. If people constantly go, he's weird, it will jeopardize their relationships. I think in that, so in the aspect that I'm looking to impress or at least not disappoint, will be more fair, not disappoint my family with my partner that I choose. If a lisp or something like this is your problem, I would say that, yeah, then there's an issue with your family and you need to decide whether or not you're going to judge your your relationship life, because we're assuming that the person themselves doesn't have a massive issue with it, because like I said, it's your problem and you should fix that. So if we assume it's fixed, yeah, I would say that your family life shouldn't govern that shit. Like, for an example, my mother wanted me to date like brown people. Should I just not date white people? Because I'm afraid that my mother might get disappointed. The fuck is this argument? You know? Like, nah, I'm gonna date whoever the fuck I want. Also, if your parents have opposing preferences, then you are not allowed to date, of course.
On to reason 2. Virtue signaling. This reason is different from the first. The first reason suggested women aren't aware of the fact they're misleading men and is innocent. Meanwhile, this second point is much darker.
I don't know, I feel like if you're a person that really cares about public appearances, it's justified to choose your partner based on that. Otherwise, you are making personal sacrifice to make somebody else feel better, which is well, no. What I'm saying is that you're a bit of a loser if that's what you're doing. If you are doing that, I'd say that's a pretty big loser move. I think you could justify a lot of well, you know what? I would really like this trans person, but because trans people are not the best optics in Utah or like Michigan, I'm going to go with a no. So, yeah. I mean, you seem like a really great person. It's just, my Instagram followers, need a kick, and, trans people don't go too well in these parts down in Texas. So, yeah, I'm going to hit that with a no. Like, yeah, you're a bit of a loser.
It's saying women are aware of what they're attracted to, but choosing to spread delusion instead. I'll start off this point by asking, would you ever ask a fish how to catch a fish? Well, no, of course not. So
I hate these analogies so much. Would you ask a fish how to catch a fish? This is such a stupid, I mean, first off, women are animals, right? So I can talk with them, Would you ask it's like, I know, this is would you ask a fish how to catch a fish? Well, if we bring it over to human analogies, right? any human. We would ask, if we're trying to catch something, we could ask anything. We could ask shoplifters how to catch shoplifters. In fact, it's been incredibly effective. When we're talking about catching things, which again, catching is not a great analogy to dating, but like criminals are a phenomenal use case of what, asking them what the fuck is going on actually is very helpful to catching them in the future. It's very helpful. But like in a relationship, you could ask people, a woman, like what specifically they like and shit like that. It's just, unfortunately, when it comes to women and men, I don't want to target women specifically here. They're not the best. They're not the best at understanding like what is the like reasons they like people or don't like people. Right? It's not the best. Right? It's just like how if there's the analogy that I will draw is there's a 10 out of 10 chick. She spills some coffee on you a little bit, right? It's a little warm, not too hot, right? Doesn't sear you too bad, right? And you look up at her and she's, a 10 out of 10. She goes, "Oh, sorry." Your first response isn't going to be, "This dumb fucking cow just spilt fucking coffee on me." Nah, that's not going to be your response, right? Your response is, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just shitty pants. I get it. You get it. Listen, I get it. I understand. Hey, listen, and you might shoot your shot. Maybe. You might shoot your shot, right? A 1 out of 10 does that shit from you. You're going to fucking, that's what you're going to fucking do. You're going to get up and you're going to want to fucking box. You're going to get up and be like, "This fucking bitch." And you're going to want to fight her. 100%. And that's just how reality goes. And then you specifically, if you ask that person, "Hey, what was happening there? What was happening there?" They're just going to be like, "I don't know, man. I just don't like coffee being spilt on me." In the case of the 1 out of 10, in the case of the 10 out of 10, you know what you're going to say? Accidents happen. That's exactly what you're going to fucking say. Don't deny that shit. That's exactly what the fuck you would say. 100 trillion percent. 100 trillion percent. And if you literally think that you would do anything otherwise, congratulations, you're fucking delusional.
Why do so many guys ask the women in their lives how to date women? If anything,
of course, it's a more extreme version of what would happen. Of course, I was being hyperbolic. You're not going to fucking physically knock somebody out that just spilled coffee on you. I don't think you do that for a dude or a woman. I'm just saying that the halo effect, and this is a studied effect. What I just said is a studied effect. It's a hell of a drug, right? Somebody hot does something bad to you, you don't think it's that bad. Somebody hot does something even mildly like cool, and you're like, "Whoa, crazy Omega Poggers, that's the craziest thing in the world. Like, you're the first person to ever come up with that, Chad."
Asking a woman for dating advice is likely to lead to the opposite results, as she'll want to make it harder for you. Taking dating advice from a woman is the same as her giving you a shovel. You think you're digging deeper into a connection, but really you're only digging yourself into a deeper hole. Guys, if you take dating advice from a woman, expect it to be blue-pilled. Women don't want to tell men the truth. I'll continue with the...
I find this to be rather unreasonable. I think what's probably more often than not is there could be a mixture of both, but I find it more often than not, it's probably just that like women probably don't think that in a similar way to what I just described, and a lot of dudes in my chat started fucking coping thinking they wouldn't do that shit, is they just don't understand why they like people. They think, "Oh yeah, this guy's kind of attractive." No, the only reason you like him is because of his jawline. "Oh, this chick is kind of cute. She's like playing around and fiddling with her like keys in a funny way." But if she was less attractive, you'd be like, "Why the fuck is this woman just rattling her fucking keys off in a public lobby?" It's so fucking cringe. And what you think is because they're cute and quirky. But what quirky means is having the same cup of coffee that every other chick around you has had for the rest of their life. That's what the fuck it means. And you're trying to justify that shit because she's got a nice rack. I'm sorry. That's it. That's God's honest. If you don't like that, I'm sorry.
Fishing example. You know how fishermen sometimes throw out food shortly after casting their rod to attract any nearby fish? Well, your food is your attention and validation. The fish is the girl you're trying to date. You yourself is the fisherman. And the fishing rod you're using...
I mean, you don't think dating experiences affect political leanings? I mean, they could, sure. I mean, not massively.
Your fishing rod is held
Are
together
you saying that's what you do? Yeah, whether consciously or not, correct. The halo effect, like, I believe, quite firmly, affects everyone. Consciously or subconsciously. A 1 out of 10 chick spilling coffee, it doesn't even have to be a woman either. A 1 out of 10 dude, and I'm not even gay or bi or any of that shit. They're a less attractive person doing anything bad to you will be seen as worse than a more attractive person. That's what the phenomena shows. And if you legitimately think otherwise, then I'm sorry. You're just going to, it's just really well established. It's just the way that it is. It's a pretty privilege. Just people that are more attractive, people tend to treat better. It's just the way that it is. I mean, it's self-evident in all of our lives. It's weird that we don't, like, well, of course I don't do it. Yeah, you do. It's self-evident. Why do you think everybody laughs at Chad's jokes or Stacy's jokes? You know, it's not just because they're trying to impress them. It's legitimately because they just think that they're funnier because they're more attractive. They think that they're more charismatic because they're more attractive. When the most charismatic thing that they're doing is, I don't know, doing makeup that day.
Twigs and duct tape, because that's exactly what the fish told you to use. Don't you see, guys? If you take dating advice from a woman, you're being fooled. The girl in your life is benefiting as she's able to get all your attention and validation for free. Meanwhile, you're there getting frustrated as your desires aren't even coming close to your expectations.
Wait, why does this guy look like Hitler? Is anybody else seeing this? Why does this guy look like a caricature of Hitler? He just needs the stash. Why the fuck does his thing look like Hitler? The Forsen cut. Yeah, do me like Forsen, the barber said. Or the dude said to the barber. Was just checking if you applied that to yourself because there's a chance you'd get the same advice you get, but sure. Not really seen as worse, but more like less bad. Fuck are you talking about? Oh, so you don't actually think I'm funny? It's just because I'm so damn good looking? Stranger One, you are a national treasure. It's just a disguise when he ran away to... This seems wrong. Like, it would make more sense that they are just telling you what they specifically like and not women in general. Oh, what? Women that talk to you specifically? Or are you talking about black pill people? Do a poll in chat of how many people have had sex in the past 2 months? I'm not ready for that black pill.
On top of this, you're wasting your time, energy, and God forbid, money, thinking it's going to get you somewhere, when in reality, it has zero return on investment. Anyway, this sums up the second reason. I hope this analogy I've used has helped you out. Now moving on to the third and final reason for why women give shocking dating advice. Reason number 3, e-fame. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. It really wouldn't surprise me if these women know themselves that deep down, the quality of dating advice they're giving out to men is abysmal. And instead, they're deliberately putting on a rainbow-coloured mask in order to appease two groups. Firstly, their followers, and second, their platform regulators. I'll start with the followers. Guys, in my video, 8 reasons why women think they're a 10, I said the biggest reason by far for why this is happening...
Oh yeah, I remember that video from the dude. It was peak coat by the dude. Because he thought that the women that say that they're a 10 when they're not a 10 by like any standard that relatively exists were being serious. That they legitimately thought that they were a 10 and not it was like a political message that is like similar like we're all queens or we're all kings, right? Where it's like you should be confident and proud in yourself in that you are attractive and that you know, somebody can find you attractive. He thought everybody that said that truly believed that they were a 10 out of 10 and that it got no better than them. It's like, okay, dude, you're farming at this point. It reminds me of the red pill and black pill people on YouTube that will go out and like respond to TikToks that are just genuinely jokes, like unironic jokes. Like it's like you can clearly see that the like chick that is making the TikTok is like joking. She's like saying like 5'11" guys versus 6 foot guys, and then like at the end of it, it's like lol JK. This is how cringe people online do it. but they'll cut out that last bit and be like, huh, these bitches. And it's like, bro, what?
Is simping. Everyone should know by now that there is a simp epidemic going on. And the point is, these content creators who are giving advice know if they tell feel-good, nice-sounding theories on their channels, their audience, most of whom are these spoken about simps, are going to soak all of it up like a sponge. Of course low-value men are going to go wild if an attractive girl gives them hopeful and blue pill advice on TikTok. I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. Dreams sell, the truth doesn't. Just imagine for 1 second, if creators started preaching similar beliefs to what I talk about on my channel, what would happen?
This is a good bit. This is a good bit. Incel XL, incorrectly assuming something is a date. That's a nice bit. That is a solid bit.
Well, I could name a few. It will lead to outrage in the comment sections by butthurt men who refuse to accept simple facts, a far lower like to view ratio, more dislikes, a potential spike in user reporting, a decline in return viewership, all of which will hurt the algorithm and lead to less promotion. Therefore, these content creators are deliberately giving pleasant sounding advice in order to build e-fame. How about the platform regulators side? Well, I'll start off by saying that any of the terms
women
you see
don't
on
do
your
this?
screen...
No, I think they do. It's the same as men. It's 100%. I think this is an easy give. It's the same thing as men pickup artists. Women will say, just be nice to women and you'll get women, because it's like similar to the red pill pickup artist. Like, people are desperate to look of how to pick up attractive women, and there's dudes that go to attractive women to figure it out. And then just saying, like, be nice to women and shit like that is a way that you can keep as much of your audience intact. It's the grifter online mentality. Like, men are not exclusively the only ones doing it. Women absolutely do it, and this is one of the ways that women do it. Like, I wouldn't... Like, this is a pretty evidently true thing.
Right now will lead to any TikTok channel getting flat
women
out
be
banned.
troll. Yeah, women want cash, men want cash. We do it in like red pill. Let me tell you, if you lift 500, if you got a 500-pound bench press, every single woman will be on your dick. Like, you do it like that, or it's like, listen, dude, it doesn't matter what your hairline is or what you look like at all, right? It doesn't matter if you have busted teeth or whatever the fuck you're insecure about, right? As long as you hold your head up high and you're confident, you can get any woman on the planet Earth. Any woman will be begging to slurp on your dick. It's like, soy true. All I gotta do is hold my chin at a roughly 10-degree incline relative to my normal thing, and then every woman will want to have sex with me. It's just the same fucking shit, right? They're selling you on some fucking voodoo fucking snake oil bullshit to be able to try and get your confidence up and keep you buying shit.
It's less strict, but there are theories out
Dr.
there
Watt,
about this
pedal that
platform
shit back a minute.
suppressing controversial content creators. Anyway, the point is, speaking controversial opinions is hardly an effective strategy in terms of building e-fame. And what's the big
That's
deal
not necessarily
about e-fame?
true.
Well, have you ever noticed on Tinder how many girls have "follow my Insta" in their bio? Meanwhile, literally no men include that. It's because of attention. Women desire far more external validation and attention than men do. As guys, we're content to keep ourselves to ourselves, relax, play video games, focus on one thing at a time. Meanwhile, women have a much bigger desire to be sociable and...
I will agree that generally speaking, women are going to desire external validation more because external validation, on their appearance more. Because that's how society views, like, valuable women, is whether or not people find you more attractive. That's your value relative to the current culture as a woman is, are you attractive to men? If the answer is no, then yikes. If the answer is yes, then bing chilling. But, like, other than that, yeah. But when it comes to men, your social validation primarily comes with, like, cash. That's what it is. Money and social status. Your social status matters tremendous amounts, which is weird because this guy has agreed with it, that your social status does matter quite a bit to people, which is weird that he would say then it doesn't matter to men.
Compete for attention. This is why on TikTok, the majority of content creators are women. Even for real-world jobs, men are far more likely to be truckers, software developers, engineers, and so on, which often involve long hours alone. In fact, pictured on the right of your screen now are the top 10 most male-dominated jobs. And I wouldn't consider any of these to be sociable at all. Meanwhile, for women, they often have jobs like teachers, secretaries, retailers, where there's a constant social interaction going.
Is he saying that women pick being a fucking retailer so where they can get social acceptance?
On. Here are the top.
I want social acceptance, so I'm gonna be a fucking receptionist or a cashier? Is this real? Is this really the bit he's going with?
Top 10 most female-dominated jobs, all of which I would say have a significant social element involved. This shows...
Yeah, I'm a secretary so that way I can get attention. The fuck?
Social interaction and attention is far more important for women than it is for men. This is why they're more likely to create TikTok pages and do whatever it takes to build it, even if it means spreading misinformation to guys in order to maximize their growth. I'm going to try something completely new on my channel now. I recently posted a poll to my community page asking...
I'm a developer and I'm in developer. You would say a developer, right? Or am I the lame one or are you the lame one, Neb? Think about it. Developer and agile never gives me more than 10 minutes alone. Yeah, it could 100% depend. There are some like software development jobs that I've seen that are like incredibly team oriented, and you need constant input from people that you work with, coworkers. After watching this, should we cancel on women? That's what it's supposed to show you. It's like, yeah, we should, like, this is supposed to get you mad.
What content you, the viewer, want to see in future. And as you can see, solutions were by far the most requested. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to be discussing a little bit of this. Here's some solutions relating to the topic we've been talking about. If you're a guy genuinely looking for dating advice right now, who should you look towards? What people should you ask? Well, so far we've established that you shouldn't ask women. How about other groups? How about the guys in your social circle? Well, going back to the fishing example, would it be a good idea to ask your rival fisherman on how to catch fish? I hope you agree with me that of course not.
Wait, why not?
This is a terrible idea. Why would your competition give you the answers when you're all competing?
What a weird mentality. Is he really saying that, like, other dudes are gonna sabotage you because they're in competition? Yeah, you know what? You asked me for my dating advice. How about you just fucking crack her, like, a bottle of Tabasco sauce over her head? Yeah, that's good dating advice. Like, I'm not gonna go out here and sabotage the boys. The fuck? Bro code, man. Come on. That shit's sacred. What? This guy acts like, yeah, you know what? This guy is another man. Another, God forbid, another straight man. I know, cis straight man. Oof. Dear God. God forbid. This guy must be taken down a peg. So I'm going to say to him that the best dating advice I could give him is to just fucking shit his pants on the opener. Just shit him. Just shit his pants. Full fucking brownout on those fucking pants as soon as he comes out. Like, what the fuck is happening?
For the same pool of women. So don't ask women.
Is he white
don't ask
though?
your
Of course.
competition. In fact, don't even ask a Chad who's successful with dating, because he won't know any better. That'd be like asking a rich man who's inherited his wealth on how to become a millionaire. Or like asking a 7-foot basketball player on how he is able to dunk so easily. Instead, if you're genuinely looking for serious dating advice, you have a few options. 1, asking an average looks guy or someone who's similar in looks to yourself, who most importantly is already in a long-term, successful and committed relationship. This way, he won't be tempted to mislead any competition as he's not actually in the dating market at that point. 2, another good option, which is a little harder to find, use online forums like the ones listed here or Discord servers such as mine, which we'll have a link in the description below by the way. However, the only issue with this is that it does require you to be able to correctly identify and eliminate any counterproductive advice. Lastly, 3, any authentic content creators, but none who are trying to sell you a course or program. As I've talked about in my previous videos, most of these are trying to sell you lies and hope in order to keep you trapped in their corrupt system. Then when you fail, you're told to buy even more programs or courses. So these are my solutions, but still, with these 3 things being said, I still think the biggest source of information by far should be from within yourself. In my opinion, a lot of figuring out the social aspects of dating comes from trial and error and experience. And I'm mainly talking to the members of my audience who are in the normie or average looks range here, where your non-looks related SMV comes most into play. If this is you, I'd say it'd be best to start talking to more people, find topics you think both yourself and other people would enjoy talking about. My go-tos are social media and music, and then when you get more comfortable, try building and flirting so you can distinguish between what works and what's inappropriate. And if you don't have many people to talk to, you can still practice.
Unfortunately, this is probably going to be the only way that people learn. You're probably not going to get some one-size-fits-all thing that you can say to people. You are probably going to have to feel it out. This is how a lot of social interaction, especially learning social interaction, because you got to remember some of the people that he's talking to are people that have crazy low amounts of social interaction. So with that being the case, it's probably going to end up being trial and error. You're going to have to feel it out. It's just going to be difficult for you to do.
These skills with store workers, receptionists, waitresses, and so on. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I trust myself more than anyone.
Don't flirt
and you should too. And it's far better.
I wouldn't flirt with any of these people because that puts them in a really tough spot. You try and flirt with like a cashier or a waiter or some shit, it puts them in a really weird spot because they're trying to be nice to get a tip, and if you're flirting with them, like, they have to turn you down, but they're also worried about the tip, and they're also worried about like potentially you complaining to the manager and shit like that. It puts them in a really bad spot. I wouldn't do this with like people who are actively on the job.
To build social knowledge through yourself and experience rather than watching 50 different YouTubes about it. So that's the video, and these are
Why is she scanning a pineapple? Well, I mean, often pineapples have like tags on them. You just scan the tag.
Reasons and various solutions. If you enjoyed the video, be sure
Tip
to press
the cashier.
the like button.
What? I said waiters as well. Did I not?
And leave any thoughts you have in the comments below.